We're going to say 6. You'll never know. Of Dazzle Discussions. Of course, I am always Blake, Dazaninator and Joining me today is the one and only, the beautiful, the very sick, yet victorious Bailey Ponnox Dietrich. How you doing today, buddy?
Oh, I've been better. I'll pull through though. I can manage.
You'll survive?
I'll survive.
I've heard that cold flu combo gets pretty nasty. So
Hey, dude,
hopefully
please
you don't get the
nerf.
full extent of it because you'll die.
Please nerf.
JK. But I mean, how was your weekend? I didn't really get to talk to you much. I was
Oh,
gone.
it was good. Ended up pulling some clutch volleyball for the
The
team,
W.
and
The
then ended up
W.
we got the W. Placed
Sick.
first in the Sassy team tournament, but
Sick. Nothing wrong
small
with
thing.
that.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that, man.
How about your weekend?
I didn't really do much. My back. Hung out. Got to see my nephew. It's my grandma's birthday party, so I hung out there, and that was about it.
Nice. You
So
just get wasted.
I did last night, but
Nice. Grandma
um,
keeps it real.
man, Grandma Xanadine, she knows how to party. That's all I can say. Yeah, respects, pay respects. But I mean, let's get right into this. We had week 2 of SKL this week. I
We
mean,
did, yeah.
we had some pretty good matchups.
hmm
Let's start with Monday. We had RDS versus Viz Major, and if I do remember correctly, VM 2-0'd.
we no, it went 1-1.
Was it 1-1?
It was
Did
one.
RDS pull off the one
Mm-hmm.
win?
Yeah, you did. Metaphor was out for the first time.
4-2,
Yeah.
4-2.
Or
Yeah,
yeah,
he
sorry,
was.
4-2 was out for this city game, so they had to pull in one of their substitutes. And yeah, I mean, just didn't pan out. I mean, there was obviously some issues going on in the game there, but
Oh, that's right. I totally forgot you were correct. I'm sorry.
mhm. Yeah, so it was
Complete.
1-1 on either side there, which I mean. Yeah, it kind of points out some weaknesses as far as his major goes. I mean, if they're lacking a little bit in the jungle there, that's something that can be taken advantage of pretty big time. So,
Yeah, and I mean Frank Pond coming back in. I know he played last week for Devmaster J, who was unable to make
hmm
it, and they went 1-1 last week. Then they bring in Frank Pond to go in the jungle. They go against 1-1 this week against RDS, and I don't nothing against RDS, but I think they're one of the lower caliber teams of the SKL. Not saying that they're a weak team at all. I'm just saying out of all the teams we have. So I can't imagine Viz Major being too happy dropping these 1-1 games
no,
because
exactly. These
basically.
are the games that they want to pick up early off so they can kind of solidify their spot at the top of this table and then kind of roll from there. But it didn't seem to kind of work out for them
And yeah, I
early.
think
But
it's kind of the same thing we saw last season, where they're a very jungler oriented team. And I mean,
carry jungler, yeah. But
yeah, like
we
last.
have seen 4-2 play in some different style junglers lately. But I mean, still, he seems to be a big catalyst for any of the plays that seem to be made on their team at all.
Yeah, and I mean, we saw the Vi come up from Frank Pond, which is pretty good, bringing up the CC, and then brings up the Rengar as well, which has got some lockdown. So maybe 4-2 giving him some tips there, being like, all right, so pick this
Yeah,
champion, do this, run house, go ham. But
Roadhouse.
so I don't know. I kind of feel bad. I feel like this is it's kind of hindering them not having their full roster going into this first couple weeks of this season. I mean, it's kind of a big deal if you're not able to pull these 2-0s
hmm
because you
Especially against some of the teams that you're going to be matching up with early on, because when you go up against Nixia, that can kind of go either
but
way,
they
stuff
did
like that,
they
right?
split it. Well, they split against the Nixia last
Yeah,
week with Frank
yeah.
Bondin, so which is very good for them. I
But
mean,
once they kind of roll around to the other teams like Malicious Intent and Argon 53, then that's when they're going to really need kind of all hands on deck. They're going to have to pull up their socks on that one. And next week they are playing Argon 53, so that's going to be a pretty big match coming into next week at SKL.
yeah, and we'll talk about that a bit later. But it was good to see RDS also though pull out a win because I
Mm,
mean I feel like they do have the mechanical skill and stuff to play out. I feel like they're picking bands a little different than most people. I know me and Silky talked about this last week. They kind of prioritize different champions than a majority of people, but I don't think they're necessarily a bad team. They just think of the game in it from a different aspect or different perspective, and they play
Mm-hmm.
it their own style. So it was good to see them pull out a win because I think they can do quite well in SKL.
Yeah, same. Feel like it's good to have these teams that are they be strong enough that they could keep coming back into it in following seasons and then kind of get their groove, and then that might be what they need to kind of excel later on.
Yeah,
hmm
and And I mean, going into the second week of the match, this is the one that I want to talk about. I guess I'm more familiar because I casted this one. We had Fellowship of the Nerds versus ADP Gaming,
Yeah,
and I think their game one was probably the longest game of the week.
it
It
was a good
it's
one. Yeah,
it
yeah.
was dang near 58 minutes, and it was very close. And like that's the thing I love about ADP is they're such a team fight oriented team. They got some
Hmm.
of their picks taken away, but they kind of prioritized around it, picked different champions going into it. They pull through, and then it was towards game one. It looked like Fellowship of the Nerds just back and forth with ADP Gaming. Then they go for the Baron at like a 55-minute mark. And then Flamefire goes in with the Jarvan, steals the Baron at like
Yeah.
55 minutes. Like he was super clutch. And then
Mm.
all of a sudden, the rest of his team, like he sacrifices himself to get the Baron, but the rest of his team kind of follow in
Yeah.
behind him. Tom Kench goes in, spits the Lux into the enemy team, which was
Yeah, and
really
that kind of
unfortunate.
delivered the game to Fellowship of the Nerds at that point. It was a rough go of it. They should have let Flamefire just steal the Baron, kind of hold off the base at that point, wait for his respawn, and then try and force their hand after that. But yeah, tried to take a little more than they should have at that point.
Yeah, and it was so heartbreaking to see because it was such a good game. It was so back and forth, and all of a sudden, I went
Hmm.
nuts when they
Yeah,
stole.
it was pretty hype. I was casting with you, man.
Yeah, no, wait, no, were you with me that night? Yeah, you
Mm.
were. Yeah, and then you stole that, and then all of a sudden it was just like, what are you doing? No, 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 run, just get out of there. And it was, they couldn't pull it off, and it was just
Yeah,
very unfortunate because then in the second game, it looked like they just kind of rolled over and died. Fellowship picked a
yeah.
little more lane heavy champions, and they just kind of steamrolled through that
I
game.
mean, that is a very disheartening way to lose the game when you were that even the whole time, and then just one mistake can kind of just throw it after that point. Once the game gets to that long, when the death timers get that high, then throwing a game like that's never the way you want to go out. You want to at least put up a fight, right?
Oh, of course, and I think that might be almost like demoralizing when you
Yeah.
have such a close game. Something like that just hinders like you make this huge play for your team, and it's just like crap. But
Hmm.
I mean, from a team fighting aspect, it seemed like it was pretty good. I liked I that was my biggest thing is I felt like they had the Lux and I believe they had the Ezreal. So the blue Ezreal, the Lux pick, they were able to really kite things out.
Yeah.
Lot of long range. They had the lockdown on the Jin, who Baby Trog picked up. We haven't seen him play till then. But that Jarvan was really good at shutting him down. It seemed like a lot of the team fights would depend whether they could get the full burst onto the Jin, take him
Yeah.
out of the fight before anything happened. And that was
Mhm.
kind of live or die by that. But yeah, like the second game, it was just wasn't the same ADP we usually see. So
Yeah, exactly. It was a tough go for them. Hopefully, they'll be able to kind of come back from that loss and swing into the next couple weeks because they are playing some other teams here, so maybe their play style kind of match up properly with those ones. I believe next week they are playing Malicious Intent, so that's going to be a tough game for them. So they're really going to have to kind of bring uh bring all the guns to that one.
yeah, and I'm actually I think that'll be a pretty good game. But then our third
Mm.
game of the week we had was Sasquatchies versus Anixia Esports. I don't know really what to say about this series. It was just kind of another Anixia run in full. I think both
Yeah,
games were pre 20 minutes.
yeah. Just looking at the stats here, like you can see there was like 54 kills to 23, so or 21, sorry. So they doubled their kills in the two-game series. Pistol 44, the jungler, put out some unreal stats. He went 19, 4, and 14 over the two games. So putting out a really impressive KDA there and really
Carry
showing up for the
Lord.
team. Yeah, because I mean everyone else was in the double digits as well for kills, minus the support. But he was the only one that kind of went 19 and 4. Everyone else is like 10 and 7, and then like they had some more kills on them. But yeah, he kind of just went clutch mode at that point. So good performance from Pistol. I have to see if that can keep up, especially when you go against teams with other carry style junglers.
Yeah, and I think going against Sasquatches, they still kind of stick to their guns. Like I think the second game we saw the Draven pick up the Sinzao jungle,
Hmm.
and that was kind of the thing that kind of like they had very snowbally champions, but if you can't get going, you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot
Yeah.
because your champions don't really peak until you get some items behind
Hmm.
you, get those stats going, and just it's kind of like last week. They just got to take. They're playing one of the higher tier teams in the tournament, so take away what you can from these games and apply it towards your next series. Because looking back at this, if you're gonna try and pick apart all your mistakes and be like, "Oh man, we screwed up here, we screwed up here, we screwed up here," it'll be like, "Okay, well, you're gonna start putting yourself down. It's gonna be hard to actually learn unless you can take constructive criticism and be like, okay, maybe if we try to do this instead of being like, okay, I'm garbage," because I'm
Hmm.
I'm pretty bad at constructive criticism for
Yeah.
myself.
Yeah.
So.
But hopefully they can really take that one back and kind of just process kind of where it started, because I feel like that's a big part of these games now is the early game. So kind of diagnosing where problems start, you can kind of fix those, and hopefully that'll help you. Especially if you're going to pick a lot of snowbally champs, you want to make sure your early game does not go that wrong. So
Yeah.
making sure you're kind of covered in the early parts will help you get to that later point, or else they're going to shut you down before 20 minutes. So
Yeah, nobody really wants that. That's kind of the thing, and I mean, we have seen Nixie can be beaten. I mean, last week we saw Viz Major take them, so it's not like they're unbeatable. You just gotta
hmm
make it past the 20-minute mark, I guess,
yeah,
to really solidify yourself a chance.
yeah,
But that early game is just so key, and I think it's something Sasquatches maybe needs to work on. Is that early game definitely helps
yeah,
us go well
yeah.
forward. But on Thursday, then we had A53 versus Team Malicious Intent. This was a bit of an interesting series. It was 2-0 for Team Malicious Intent,
Mhm.
but wasn't I wouldn't really say it was kind of a stomp. It was a pretty close.
There was some back and forth stuff. The thing was, in game two at least, malicious intent. They kind of drafted a very different composition. I mean, we've been seeing a lot
Oh,
over more in like Korea and China and stuff like that.
yeah. I'll let you take
With
this
the
because I know
not with
you were
the,
excited about this.
I was very very excited about this. Um, one sec here, but yeah, they drafted. They They took a Nautilus, which can be flexed so hard. It can go top, it can go support. Not really anybody's been seeing it in mid lane play, but it is a huge counter to mages right now, just because of the build path you're going to be taking Nautilus through. Like, you really want to go with that ZZ Raw Portal, gives you MR. You really want to go with the Banner of Command, gives you MR. So playing that into something like the Lux, which is what Argon 53 ended up drafting, it's a huge counter pick there. And then they decided to go with the solo lane Mordekaiser, which is what I think might have kind of shot themselves in the foot a little bit there. I like the idea of the carry AP top laner, but I don't like the idea of it being one with so little wave clear, especially when Graves is banned away. So they couldn't have the damage jungler that they needed, which is something that you want when you take a Nautilus mid lane. You have to allocate that damage into a different lane. So if you go with the carry top laner, you kind of also have to go with some more damage in the jungle too. And I mean, the Poppy wasn't a bad pick. It was just the fact that the rest of their composition didn't have a lot of wave clear. So potentially in the bot lane, if they would have drafted something like a Sivir, that could have definitely helped them, because that's kind of where they were starting to lose the later parts of the game, was when they couldn't clear the waves, and then Argon 53 just kept battling back, battling back. I mean, they ended up turning it around with some great team fighting, but they definitely poked holes in their composition. But all around, I like the innovation that they brought out. I like the kind of open mindedness to counter picks, especially from other regions, stuff like that. Like the Nautilus mid lane, it's not even anything I've seen like in just like normal games or ranked games, anything like that. It's purely like it has to be very uh, it has to be team centric. Like you can't play that by yourself, really. It's not going to kind of get off the ground the way it needs to. But Nautilus's base damage is pretty huge, even though they did have some recent nerfs or like Riptide stuff like that. But it's still just such a great pick into mages, just because of all the MR items being so strong right now. If they decide to nerf the ZZ Rot and the Banner of Command, I don't think we're going to be seeing that anymore. But as of right now, it's definitely something that you have to be very worried about if you're going to be early picking those mages. So that's mainly why a lot of people are leaving their mid lane picks to those final three there at least.
Yeah, it kind of gives you a little more flexibility in where
Yeah,
you want to put it. But I definitely agree, and that was kind of like I know a lot of people were questioning the bans coming from A53. Like I know the Shen ban came out. I personally thought it was a good ban. We've seen my money pretty much just repeatedly play it. Not that if it's not broken, don't fix it. So I mean, it's been
yeah.
doing great. It puts so much pressure on the map once you hit level 6. If you're confident enough in your AD carry, little tough guy showing up, you're able to just go anywhere on the map. Really help anyone that needs kind of to help your jungler, mid, top. Go
Mm,
there, help push. But I feel like some of the other bans were a little questionable.
yeah.
I think I can't remember who they ended up banning. They had a Graves ban. The one game I wasn't entirely sure about that one
The
because
Graves ban it was good in that sense, just because it completely threw a hole into Malicious Intent's entire comp. But yeah,
okay,
like without seeing how the comp was going to play out, the Graves ban maybe a little bit proactive there, um, and not in a good way. But it ended up actually working out for him. I mean, if Graves would have been picked up in the jungle, I think that would have been a very very fast game from Malicious Intent there.
And I think that was kind of the hard thing is it seemed like A53, especially in that second game, had multiple opportunities to take these big advantages, and they were so hesitant to actually go
Hmm.
for it. Like I think there was one time they ended up getting an ace, and when they could have got a free Baron and got a really good push off of it, but they were so hesitant to actually go and take the objective. They backed off,
They ended up
grabbed
going.
Dragon,
They
and
picked up a third dragon instead of going for an open baron.
yeah, and
Um,
they kept stalling the game on themselves. It seemed, and it just didn't really work out in their favor. And it just didn't seem like the team fights were really going the way they wanted it. I don't want to like pick apart people or anything. Just like the positioning in their team fights, it always seems like their carriers were in the wrong spots.
yeah, especially into something like a Nautilus or a melee AP carry like Mordekaiser. You want to make sure you're keeping your distance and you want to kite him out because if he's going to be able to get that Mace of Spades on you, he's going to pop you like so fast. So yeah, exactly. You have to make sure you're positioning very well in those team fights. Not going to get caught out by the Nautilus. Not going to get jumped on by the Mordekaiser or anything like that. But yeah, it's something you have to kind of watch out for.
Yeah, and I think it was kind of like I don't know if they were respecting them too much for that pick, but I mean, even game one was kind of close for a little bit, but then it just seemed like they just ended up washing it away, and
Yeah.
TMI just kind of took control of that. So that series was a little weird for me. I felt like Argon 53 could have picked up a win there, but didn't really seize the opportunity. Team fighting didn't really work out,
Mm,
unfortunately.
yeah.
But I mean, going into next week, we have some pretty stellar matches. Speaking of A53, they actually play Viz Major on Monday, tomorrow, of
Yes.
all times. And that should be an interesting one. I believe 4-2 is still not in this week, so we will see Frank Pond back in the jungle versus Argon 53.
Yeah.
Now, Argon 53 should have that same roster. Hopefully, they got a little more synergy going with Dark Creation. Maybe they can finally get something going out. We've only seen him play the Yasuo, Katarina, and Lux so far. I don't
Mm.
know if they're he's not familiar with the team, trying to stick with those own comfort picks, but I'm very curious how this one will go. I say, well, let's talk about the matchups, then we'll give each other our predictions on the week. Sound good?
Yep.
All
Let's
right.
do it, dude.
So give me your insight on this matchup. How do you think? What are you thinking?
I think that the Argon 53 vicious or not the Viz Major game. I think that one could go either way, especially with 4-2 being out, having Frank Pond in there. Um, the only thing is, though, I feel like it's going to come down strictly to that draft, whether or not we see something like Toast, really kind of stepping up his game and going clutch mode because he's going to have to be putting pressure all over the map because by themselves, the laners from Viz Major also like Taeyong and Poop the Sheep,
Panda.
Panda in the top lane. They're very carry style laners as well. So it's nothing that's new to them not having to being able to take up that mantle themselves. So he's gonna have to put up pressure and try and keep them down. I don't think that they're gonna have to worry about the bot lane too much. I feel like that'll go pretty even. But yeah, it's gonna be whether or not Toast can kind of pull through on that one. So I'm gonna give that to Argon 53 in the upset.
You're gonna give it 2-0?
Yeah, well, yes, I'm gonna give it a 2-0.
2-0 for Argon 53.
Yep.
Interesting.
Hmm.
All right. I can't. I don't know, man. I don't think I'm bold enough to say to go 2-0 to Argon 53. I feel like Argon 53 still struggles with making decisions, and it looks like their team fights a little off.
Hmm.
And I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I think the bot lane from Viz Major is gonna step up this week. I mean, everyone chirps Pulses for only being able to play Sivir Ash, but Sivir's
The
ridiculously
thing,
broken right now,
it
and
is,
he's gonna
and
be
as
ready at
well as
home.
he's definitely branched out. I mean, he's brought out the Lucian, he's brought out some other styles, and I mean, there's a lot of other 80 carries
Oh
in the meta
no,
right
I
now,
know.
like
I'm just
Jhin
sorry.
popping up out of nowhere.
I'm just
I
beating
definitely agree
the.
though that like if the bot lane of Viz Major goes off, then that's gonna spell the game out. Like that's gonna be it.
And
'Cause-
I gotta give him props. I mean, like the Saber is really good right now. It's definitely a champion that Pulse is very comfortable on. Pick that up, and like you said, their solo laners are very carry and oriented. So adding that utility to these people, you don't have 4-2 in really the lineup. So I'm very curious to see if Frank Pond will pick a tankier style jungler. We've seen him play the Vi and the Rengar, so more of a damage kind of carry type jungler.
yep.
So even if he went a little tanker, I mean, Devmaster J really likes to play those tankier, engaged champions in the
Yep.
support role, so that'll also work out in their favor. So I just don't know if I believe in the the cohesion of A53 yet that I could give them a 2-0. I would honestly say I would say 1-1. I think if they can pull together with their synergy, maybe they could take a couple games. Because Dark Creation, I felt like he does very well in lane, and I feel like he'll be able to go toe to toe with Taeyong maybe.
Mhm.
But in the top lane, I gotta give the advantage to Panda. I feel like Panda's a very strong solo
Oh, I
laner.
didn't know we were going lane for lane here.
Man, I told you to break down the series as ever you want. This is how I'm looking at it.
Okay,
And
all right.
in the
Go
jungle
for it.
matchup, I haven't seen Frank Pond play that much in the jungle. Unfortunately I didn't really get to see the series, but I don't know, man. I feel like in the jungle I gotta give the advantage to Frank. I can't say jungle. I'm leaving as a question mark. I can't say, but the bot lane will be interesting. I think with Sivir being very strong, if it's not banned or taken away, and they actually get that, I think that Pulses and Devmaster could take it out in the mid lane. So I'm gonna split it 1-1. I think if Argon 53 gets that cohesion together, I think they can pull a game off them. But I think Viz Major will take them to some good games. I don't think there will be a stomp either way.
All right, all right. Okay, I feel you, girl.
All right, so moving on to Tuesday, we got Fellowship of the Nerds versus Sasquatchies. Uh, I don't want to hate on these guys, but I'm going to give it 2-0 to Fellowship of the Nerds. I feel like after last week they were looking a lot better going against Fellowship of the Nerds
Mhm,
or against ADP Gaming. They look a little more decisive, a little more practiced. And until I think Sasquatches, if they really need to work on their draft phase, I think that would really help them out.
yeah.
If they were able to pick ban a little stronger,
Mhm,
that's definitely going to be a necessity going forward. I think that's something they need to work on more importantly, and I feel like they might be mismatched in all of the lanes.
mhm.
So I'm gonna give this one 2-0 to Fellowship of the Nerds, but I would really like to see some improvement from Sasquatches. I'm definitely gonna look at their draft and see if they've kind of picked up or learned anything out of this.
Same. I mean, I don't feel like there's anything really I can say that you didn't say. It feels like for Fellowship of Nerds, they're almost starting to pick up where they left off last split. Because last split we saw them like grow. I feel like exponentially over the course of the split, and then by the time finals hit, they were kind of in their final form. And then I mean, it kind of restarted a little bit here at the start, but I feel like last week kind of showed that they still have that cohesion. And so if they can keep that rolling and keep improving towards the end of the split, then I think they're definitely going to be a force to reckon with. So
Forced
2-0.
to wreck. Okay. All right. Good. Good. All right. So our third game would be Anixia versus RDS. I'll let you break this one down first. So, because I feel bad, I just kind of took all the words out of your mouth for the last one. So why don't you start us off? Anixia versus RDS on Wednesday.
Mm. So I feel like that one's going to be more or less a 2-0 for Nixia, but I don't think it's going to be as big of a stomp as Nixia's game against Sasquatches was. I feel like RDS have shown a lot of potential to kind of put up a fight as long as they can kind of stick with it, really. They can't kind of get in their own heads and get down. If they kind of stick to their guns, I feel like they could at least battle back, but I still feel like it's going to be a 2-0.
Oh goodness. Oh, I can't even get in there. I was about to go look and see if we still had the results from qualifiers. Right there. That's exactly what I'm looking at. Oh goodness, we don't. I don't have them accessed right now. But I do believe these guys played in the qualifiers against each other, and I believe it was It looked okay for a little bit, and then Anixia just kind of started grabbing the broom and sweeping the front steps. But yeah, I agree with you. I feel like RDS is a long like they have this potential to be a very strong team. Like we
Yeah.
said, they have their own unique style of doing stuff. Whether it works on our on Anixia Esports, because I feel like early game is the most important thing going against Anixia Esports. So that also leaks into pick ban. I feel like having strong laning phases is definitely key. You need, I like if you give an Azir anything, like you give him Callista, he's gonna go off.
Mm,
Like the guy is a monster down there. Him like that bot lane is very scary. So it's you gotta make sure that you have these winning lanes so that because they know how to snowball a lead, and that's the
yeah.
scariest thing. So I I'm gonna go agree with you. I think it'll be 2-0 next year, but I don't think it'll be 20-minute stomps. I believe in RDS to maybe pull it out a little longer, go a little harder,
There you go.
be a little wiser, become a little stronger.
Nice.
Sorry, I'll stop. I'll stop.
Love it.
So then that leads us to our last matchup of the week, which will be ADP Gaming versus Team Malicious Intent. All right. Out of sheer team fight, ADP Gaming has shown that they can pretty much go toe to toe with the top teams. They took Anixia Esports to one of the longest games in the qualifiers.
Mm.
They were pretty close. Ended up losing in a late game team fight. They went pretty. They did very well against Fellowship of the Nerds.
Mm.
Ended up falling down in that one bad team fight at the very late game. At the end of the Baron there. So I feel like going against Team Malicious Intent, the draft from Team Malicious Intent is very good. They're very smart. They flex pick a lot of things, so they always kind of have you on your back heel. You never know really what they're gonna pick up. So
That's definitely what I feel like Malicious Intent has going for them is their strong draft. If they can keep that up, I feel like they can definitely pick themselves favorable matchups, and I feel like that could kind of get them the foot in the door right off the bat.
I mean, at the same time, I feel like Team I their team fights against Argon 53 were kind of sloppy. No, not like Team I. I feel like the team fights in general were kind of bad. Like positioning wise from both teams, it was kind of like, Hey, they were kind of picking up on that. But I feel like I honestly think ADP Gaming is one of the best team fighting teams in SKL. I think they're pretty good with cohesion, going in as one unit, picking off the right targets, having these like they pick engage and they go in on it. So I think I'm gonna give them 1-1. I think that they might be able to take a game off of TMI if they draft correctly.
I like it. I like it. I like it. I like it.
How about yourself?
Oh, I'm gonna say 2-0 to Malicious Intent there. I'm not gonna say 1-1. I'm gonna say 2-0 just because that's superior draft. It's gonna probably translate into a little bit more.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be the key. I'm gonna give them the hope. I'm gonna give them that slight edge. I think they can pull one out if they're able to get the team fight, be very decisive with their stuff.
Yeah.
A belief. I give them a belief. All right, I'm marking this down because if you get any of your predictions wrong, you owe me $1 for every prediction you get wrong. So by the end of the split, you can buy me a milkshake or something.
I don't like that. I never agreed to this, and we did not handshake on it.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll let it go. All right. So as far as SKL goes, I think that's really all I got for SKL. So
Mm.
let's dabble a little bit. It's the last week for LCS.
Yes,
I
it is.
if I don't really, you know what, EU LCS isn't my jam. If you want to talk about EU LCS, I'll let you talk about it a bit. But
I feel like EU LCS basically played out the way most people expected it to.
yeah,
Uh, I mean, from
wow,
like a standpoint thing, I mean, it was definitely between H2K and G2, I feel. G2 ended up pulling out ahead just because H2 kind of had like that upset game, which
yeah,
is really too bad. But as far as like the standings actually ended up playing out, I feel like a lot of people did expect Giants to be bottom tier. Same with Roadcat, Splice, Elements. Like nobody really expected them in the playoffs. Fnatic doing so poorly after they came back from IEM, that's a little iffy.
yeah,
It just wasn't there for them again. Their drafts weren't working out. Just team play, just nothing kind of worked for them. Even when they ended up getting the same kind of picks that they were using at IEM to kind of dominate so hard, like the Jin and the Lee Sin, still didn't pan out really. Unicorns of Love though, definitely stepping up a little bit there. I feel like they're going to be a contender for the playoffs. I feel like Origin and Vitality are definitely going to have to look out for them. But H2K and G2, I feel like are going to be battling for that first place spot.
yeah. I'm really hoping that Origin turns it around because it's been a brutal season for them. I expected them to like run show in EU LCS and they crash and burn.
Yes,
But I don't
too
know.
bad.
ELCS, I think it'll be fun. I'm pretty stoked for playoffs. I think G2. I don't know if people really expected G2 to be as good as they were. So
Mm.
I'm kind of glad that they came out of the shadows and
Yeah,
were
they
popping.
definitely like nobody expected it either because it's like, oh, Emperor, he played for TDK. They didn't stick around too long, stuff like that. But Emperor is really stuck, like, you know,
Yeah,
put his
he's
foot
done
down. He
very
just
well.
stepped up. Yeah.
Him and Perks.
Um,
Him and Perks have
I
got
was
me
gonna
mad
say,
LCS
and
points.
Perks, the rookie mid laner. Yeah, those EU mids, man. I mean, he's been unreal. He's just been putting out consistently great results. And Trick also the carry jungler for them too. Like he's been doing a lot of work too. So I feel like those three players specifically are like the biggest parts of that team. Hybrid, great support as well. They just he's kind of in a rut though as far as champs go. I mean, plays a lot of Braum, plays some Thresh, Alistar. That's it.
Yeah, sorry, I was just quickly checking in, just watching myself lose SKL Fantasy League. I know we started at the start of the season,
Yeah.
and I got destroyed. I have lost every week except for two.
Hmm.
Just seeing them like, oh, I got perks to get me these mad points. Then I realized, no, just garbage. But I mean, NALCS.
Mm-hmm.
I could talk about this all day and how my team is absolute garbage right now. Like TSM, I didn't get to watch the game. I was listening to it while I was driving back up to Saskatoon,
Yep.
and I was like, "Oh man, we might win, we might win, we might win." I was like, just kidding.
Don't get your hopes up, buddy.
Yeah,
Don't count out
10K,
Svenskeren and his ability to
10K
throw.
gold lead. Holy, so I don't know what's going on there, but I mean, we did have Immortals lock up first place. I don't know if anyone's surprised by that.
No.
CLG securing second, which actually they've since mid split they've had a very good go here. Like their
Hmm.
record been pretty impressive. And then I believe third place we've got Cloud9.
Yep.
Which is gotta be you gotta be pretty hyped about that.
I am. I'm a little disappointed that they didn't go to the tiebreaker with Counter Logic Gaming today. Actually, though, they ended up losing that game to Liquid. But I mean, they deserve to lose. They played like garbage.
Yeah, that was a gross game.
Yeah. It really came down to the plays that Dardoch was making across the map. He just put out an insane amount of pressure on that Rek'Sai compared to Rush. Like Rush was basically non-existent there, and the botched lane swaps very early on. It went poorly for Cloud9 from minute one. So they didn't kind of deserve to win that one. I wish they would have, obviously, as I'm a fanboy. But yeah,
Fanboy.
but I mean the thing is though is the TSM up like getting defeated by NRG is going to get them a much tougher spot in the playoffs. They're going to have to play against Cloud9 in the best of series, where NRG is going to just have to play against Liquid.
Liquid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was kind
So
of hoping for the tiebreaker because yeah, and then the winner of that C9 TFSM goes to play Immortals, which is
yeah,
kind
so
of
that's
Bert's.
going to be a tough one for them either way. So they definitely would have liked to kind of secure that spot so they could have at least played Counter Logic Gaming in the semis if they would have proceeded on and then gone to the finals. But it's not looking too bright.
Kind of
Cool.
hope for the best, man.
Yeah,
Just
it's not looking bright for
please,
TSM
please.
there.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie though. It's actually been super hard to watch the TSM games for the amount of raw talent they have on that team, and they can't pull it together. It's like, please pull
It
your
is tough to
hedge.
watch. This is the worst they've ever finished in a regular season.
Well, it's just like just watching. Like Yellow Star looks like garbage out there. Svenskeren I knew was garbage when they signed him, so I wasn't expecting much out of him. But my God, Yellow Star looks brutal out there. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
But
I feel like everyone else is doing pretty consistent. Like Double Lift is doing his job.
yeah, him and Bjergsen.
Bjergsen's still doing well, and Hanser's not the worst. I mean, he just gets caught out every once in a while. But I definitely feel like Yellow Star and Svenskeren are having a tough time. I mean, they obviously battled a little too hard for Svenskeren when Yankos was a free agent. I mean, that definitely would have been a better pickup, as H2K can attest to. But yeah, Svenskeren just not working out for him.
It's so brutal. I
So.
can't. Oh, Crafty corrected me. It's actually the winner plays CLG, not Immortals. I screwed that up. Of the
Oh, I thought
C9
that's what they said
TSM.
on the stream today.
Yeah, that's what I thought I heard as well. So that's why I thought they played Immortals. But Crafty's filling us in. If Crafty's lying to me, I'm gonna hunt him down.
He
I'm
didn't
gonna
even say
find
the
him.
winner of TSM and C9. He said C9 will play CLG in semis.
Holy toxic.
Yeah.
Nah, just kidding.
He's,
Actually, let's be real. He's got enough information in his pocket that's probably a pretty accurate statement.
the only thing that worries me though is TSM in best of series. I mean, they are kind of known to
Okay, okay.
pull it out there a little bit, but I mean C9's Gauntlet run that's definitely good on their resume too. So I feel like it's gonna be like a really clutch best of series.
All right, Ponnox. For all the splits you've ever seen me, I always say, you know what? Don't worry about it. TSM shows up at playoffs.
Yeah.
They usually never let me down, except for that last split against CLG in the finals. That was pretty brutal.
Yeah. That's a
But
stomp.
I don't know, man. This is a new squad. They look brutal. They've honestly digressed as a team instead of progressed. It's kind of embarrassing, you know. I thought like, okay, I wasn't expecting them to do amazing this split, but
Yeah.
like better than this.
I agree. I mean, I feel like they should have still been at least like top four. But I mean, Liquid, you can't keep them down. They're gonna get fourth place no matter what. So no surprises there.
Can't win
But
them all, I guess, you
yeah,
know.
yeah. But yeah, I mean that lost energy today kind of really shot them in the foot.
10K gold leaf blow at the bottom. But that's what I do. So I mean, yeah, I'd say it's pretty safe to say it's gonna be CLG C9, but we have to wait 2 weeks before that even comes up, so we don't even have to talk about
Mm,
LCS until then because they have
I'm gonna
tons
have
of
some
time to
free
practice.
weekends. Wow.
Yeah, but you know what? I tell you what, Ponnox, you're
Yeah.
sick. I don't want to hold you up too long, so we're gonna wrap it up early today because
Okay.
You need to get to bed to sleep because I don't want you to die because you have
It's
to cast
well
with me
past
this
my
week.
bedtime right now.
Yeah. So to end it off, we always do a little tilter feed. What tilted you this week? What fed you? Let's start. What tilted you this week,
What
Ponnox?
tilted me this week was this cough. Um,
How long have you had it for?
I got it on Saturday morning, so
Oh,
I've
okay.
had it for just about 2 days now. I don't feel like it's gonna go anywhere, but um, what fed me this week? The volleyball tournament, man, it was clutch.
You won? Yeah, you guys went undefeated. That's pretty
Yep,
sick. That's pretty
first
sick.
tournament for the boys.
For the boys.
Yeah.
So how many tournaments do you have left this season then?
Gonna have around three more, and then we go to provincials, then we go to nationals.
Well, hey, I mean that's a good start to the season. Then. First
Hmm.
tournament, first W.
Yeah, first W.
Okay, what tilted me this week?
There's a lot of things, man.
I'm always tilted, so it's like,
I feel like group
what do I
chats, maybe.
pick? Um, oh yeah, last night group chat. No, we can't bring that kind of stuff in here. But I mean, I don't think anything really tilted me this week. Oh, my survivor pool is absolutely destroyed.
Oh,
The
okay.
boys, the boys
Gonna
watch
change it up to
Survivor.
what tilted me is that March Madness bracket. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, okay. Time out. I'm not gonna give any spoilers on Survivor just in case people watch it and they're not caught up. But I can tell you, my bracket for Survivor. I think we pick at the very start after the first we watch the first episode, then one person gets voted off, and then before the second episode, we watch we pick 5 people we think they're gonna make it to the end. You get points going forward. That's kind of how it works. You get points for them winning individual immunities, reward challenges. Every week they stay on, they get more points. So far, I've had 3 people lost in 5 weeks, so I'm pretty pissed because I'm gonna lose out real early. Because I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure the other people I have on my list are on the chopping block right now, so I'm pretty tilted off that.
Yeah.
Oh
Uh,
man, Tiny Warhead. I'm sorry. That's rough, man. That's brutal. I actually also demoted from Plat 2 to Plat 3. Not nearly as bad. Being that high up, that kind of
feels
sucks
bad,
going
man.
down. But it sucks. Demoting is not fun.
Yeah. But
But yeah, you want to talk about that March Madness bracket? Because I feel like others screwed a lot of you guys. Actually, I
well,
got screwed by a team.
Purdue losing to Little Rock, Michigan State losing, just so many upsets of people's Final Four just getting completely toasted. Sucks. It sucks.
I
And I know
actually,
it.
to be honest with you, I don't know much about basketball. So when I was filling mine out, I picked Xavier to win because it reminded me of X-Men.
Yes.
So they're my
I mean, they
winners.
were they were one of the higher placed
They
teams.
were they were
So
it's they were a 2 seed, so it's like I
yeah.
wasn't like grabbing a 16 seed and being like, but I was like, you know what? I'm gonna put Xavier in there. So I think at my final four I had Michigan State, Kentucky, Xavier, and some other team.
Probably Kansas.
Kansas. Yeah, I was
Everyone's
gonna
got
say I think
Kansas.
Kansas. Maybe I didn't have Kentucky. Maybe it was Kansas. I don't really know. I don't even know how to look at my own bracket. I filled it out, but I know when Michigan State lost, a lot of you guys were pretty tilted, so I felt bad.
Yes, I had them going to my Final Four, and was not happy about that.
Yeah. What fed me this week? Oh, what fed me this week? Yesterday, I bought my first real bow tie, not a clip-on, a real.
Oh, you're gonna be one of those guys?
And I tied it myself,
Oh, you
and it looks
disgust me.
and it looks so good. And so I bought my little nephew and me and him have a matching outfit. I bought
Oh,
him a little bow tie and stuff,
it's
a little
cute as
hat and
hell, man.
sunglasses. So I
I
wanted to
actually saw the
match.
picture.
You saw the picture,
It
yeah.
was
So
cute as hell.
I had to go pick up a bow tie because I forgot to bring one. So I found it was pretty sweet. I liked it. I'll
It was a
probably
bow
wear it when I
ties only
cast.
event.
I mean, you gotta have it. So I learned how to tie bow ties, so I was pretty proud of myself. It only took me one try, and I like killed it. So, but I'm not gonna lie, they were actually pretty hard to tie. Kind of a little bit
Yeah.
complicated, but
Which is why you might as well just get the clip ones
it's true. The clip ones are
or
quite nice,
pre-tied.
but
Anything, man.
I was proud of myself. Okay, that was like a high moment for me. So.
Yeah.
And I guess it was pretty nice. I was back home in Swift Current there, so went to the cabaret and met a lot of people that I haven't seen in a long time. So had a good chat with them. A lot of them chirped me for wearing a bow tie to the event, which I mean I kind of deserved for wearing a bow tie
Hey,
to.
dude, never be upset about wearing a bow
But
tie.
I was having a good time, so I wasn't even mad. But yeah, that was my week in general. So and then I have to write a test tomorrow, so that's not exciting, but. Human body systems got it down. Everybody
Dude, you
poops.
have one. You have one. You know what it is
I
about.
breathe, I breathe, I bleed, I poop. It's all my systems.
Yeah, you got it, man.
Hormones,
You got it.
nervous system.
The cheat sheet, dude. It's you. You're the
Yeah,
cheat sheet.
this. How am I gonna write the test if I can't even go in with myself?
Yeah, yeah.
All right, all
Checkmate.
right. I'm done wasting time here, guys. Thanks for tuning in to Dazzle's discussion this week. It's a little shorter. Next week, I plan on trying to bring someone from Viz Major on here. We'll see if we can pull one of them on. Hopefully, we can get someone on there. But I will have someone along with another caster because I gotta have the casters. I'm trying my darndest. We're gonna
Yeah.
get someone from Viz Major on here. I'll make sure of that. But thanks for tuning in. As always, thank you, Ponnox, for coming by. Bailey, Ponnox, Dietrich, everyone, for being sick and still showing up. I appreciate that.
Oh, thanks, man.
And no, unfortunately, none of the casters are sitting in Regina. We are all from Saskatoon. But I mean, I go to Regina quite often, so
Mm.
that happens.
I can't tell if he's Canadian or not.
Yeah, I mean, it happens. He might be, but yeah, this has been episode 6. I've been Blake Dazaninator and Zanity. If you guys have any questions, I'll hang around in Twitch chat. Feel free to throw them out. I'll try and answer them. If not, make sure to tune in tomorrow, guys. 7 o'clock right here. We will have Viz Major versus Argon 53. Should be a good matchup, so make sure to check it out. I don't know who's casting yet. I'm pretty sure I'm going to go on a limb here and say it's Silky Mittens and Big Booty Bodie, per usual.
Probably. Probably.
Oh, Warheads. Toxic. But all right, you guys have a good night. Thanks for stopping by. Per usual,